Thank you for using PhotoMe.
Thank you for having me.
Please note that headwear is not permitted.
Deze beer woont al sinds de eerste film in 2014 in Londen. Maar nu neemt hij de familie Brown mee op avontuur naar Peru om zijn geliefde tante Lucy te bezoeken. Een mooie kans voor ons om Paddington anders te leren kennen.
He's been in London a long time, so he's a little bit rusty. But he has great courage. I think you really get to see his courage in this film, which I find adorable.
Aunt Lucy always says, when skies are grey, hope is the way.
It was lovely for him to return to the wild and to return to that part of himself that is an animal, a bear.
I suppose it's coming full circle because the first film began with him leaving Peru and coming to London. So obviously it makes sense, the circularity of it. We're so used to Paddington, a singular talking bear in London, and the oddness of that and the sort of storybook London we created around him. So we spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to continue that sort of slightly theatrical storybook aesthetic.
And he's much more of a leader in this movie. Like, he is the one knowing the place, and he's the one showing the Browns the place. So it turns around the story and the narrative.
As Mr. Brown says, you have to embrace the risk. And in this case, I think that's every single character goes out of their comfort zone, and they're all the better for it towards the end of the film. So I think there's a real sort of development for these characters that you see.
Definitely. I think there's been a bit of a reverse. The Brown family have been put into this situation of uncertainty, which they're not used to.
I can show you where I'm from.
De eerste Paddington-film is alweer van ruim 10 jaar geleden. Dus de acteurs die de kleine kinderen van de familie Brown destijds speelden, zijn inmiddels alweer flink gegroeid.
It is surreal because it's been such a long time, but it's so easy to get back in the saddle. Working with fellow actors, familiar and unfamiliar. It was such a joy to do, and especially working as an adult now, it's a completely different, fresh experience to have. So,
it's been very nostalgic, this one, and it's been lovely sort of bringing back all of the memories of being together, and it's just like coming home, really. It's lovely.
Aunt Lucy would never give up on me. We have to find her.
But the Amazon is quite... large.
Voor regisseur Dougal Wilson was het de eerste keer dat hij meedeed. Dus voor hem was het een heel andere ervaring.
It was a slightly foolish thing to do, to try and follow up something that I didn't make and that was done so perfectly by someone else. And the third installment, which is, as everyone knows, is always perhaps the trickiest one. But I had a fantastic team around me, and I thought I might regret it if I didn't do it. But it was a very scary prospect and remains to be. We'll see what happens when it comes out.
Hij heeft mazzel, want Paddington in Peru krijgt lovende recensies. En de cast begrijpt heel goed waarom deze films het zo goed doen.
The films only work because each moment has been so carefully honed for everything, for its poignancy, but also for its comedy. And that balance is what you're always trying to get right, I suppose.
It's always his sense of adventure, and especially him sort of going back to where he's from is always really nice to see, and how he sort of tries to adapt back into sort of the environment that he grew up in, where you see at the start and then when you see at the end. So I think that's really nice to see.
Like en subscribe en abonneer voor meer toffe filmitems en exclusieve interviews.
Show the way. Right. And what bear would that be?